Good morning, dear students of class 7. Welcome to online class from LPM Public School, Gola Bajar, Gorakhpur. Student, I am a science teacher. And student, as you know, your chapter 5th, that is 6th, that is physical and chemical change is under process. And in my previous video, I have explained what is the physical change and what is chemical change and their differences. I have already explained that physical change is a temporary change, is a reversible change, and a chemical change is a permanent change. It is also an irreversible change. In physical change, the properties doesn't changes, but in chemical change, its properties changes. This is all I have explained in my previous video, student. Hope so you have listened carefully. Student, if you will not listen the prior video, then the next coming video you will not understand. So student, it's my request, please watch and listen carefully all the videos in series, because every videos are going in sequence order, and if you will not listen the previous video, you can't understand the concept of the next coming video. So first listen the previous video and clear the concept, and then go on the next coming video to get the next topic to be clear. So watch again and again the video to clear the concept. So student, today on this chapter, my topic, what I am going to explain today, is about the importance of chemical change. So student, physical and chemical changes. On this topic, my today topic is importance of chemical change. Student, whatever the new substances is formed from its previous form, when get mixed, it get its new form, and the new thing which we are using in our life, daily life, is called chemical change. Is exact chemical change. Just for example, medicines which we are using, that is only formed by the chemical change, by a chemical reaction. The plastic materials which we are using is also formed by a chemical reaction. It is also a chemical change. And the metals which are extracted from their ores, this is also by a means of chemical reaction, chemical process. So student, you have seen that chemical process is very most useful to our life. We are mostly depend on these chemical changes. Just for example, if you desire to eat curd, so what you will do? A milk is by a chemical process is changed to a curd. You are eating curd, you are applying curd in your life, eating curd. That is what? Chemical change. If you got fever, if you are not feeling well, you go to the medicine shop, you buy medicines, and this medicine is coming from where? From medicine companies, and medicine companies is chemically preparing those medicines which we are consuming to get fit and healthy. So this is also a chemical reactions, and by the help of this chemical reaction, medicine is formed which we are using. If there would be no chemical changes, no chemical reactions, then we can't get the medicine. So these are all what chemical reaction is very most useful in somewhere in our life, but not too much. Some chemical reactions are very harmful also, but few chemical reactions are there which are beneficial to our life. So these are the importance of the chemical changes. Now example student, importance of chemical changes that I have just explained you. Chemical changes are very important in our life. All the new substances which we used is produced by a chemical change. Metals are extracted from their ores by a series of chemical change. Metals are extracted from the ore that I have just told you now. Metals are present by mixing with the ores, and the ores is non-useful substance, and the useful substance metals we distract it, means we take it out from the ores by the process of chemical changes. Medicines are prepared by a chain of chemical reactions. Materials like plastic, soap, detergent which we are using in our daily life, that is also made by a chemical reactions. Now the student, our next topic is protective shield of ozone. Protective shield. Protective means the thing that guard, protect, and shield means that is a type of, you can say in Hindi, kavach, suraksha kavach. So ozone is a protective shield, suraksha kavach about the living creatures living on the earth's surface. How so? Ozone contains O3, 3 atoms of oxygen, and forms ozone layer. You must have heard about the ozone layer in our atmosphere. It protects us from the harmful ultraviolet rays which is coming out from the sun. When the sun rays are coming, along with it, ultraviolet rays is also coming out. But these ultraviolet rays is guarded from getting touch of our lithosphere, Earth's surface. And who is stopping these ultraviolet rays to reach our Earth's surface? These ultraviolet rays is totally surrounding this ozone gas layer is totally surrounding our Earth like a blanket and a protective shield, so that from anywhere it can't reach the Earth's surface. Okay, so it protects from the harmful UV rays which comes from the sun. Ozone absorbs these radiations. Ozone absorbs within it its radiation, the radiation of UV rays, and breaks down to form oxygen. So what you are seeing is, student, this is also type of chemical reactions. The breaking down of ozone gas into oxygen gas is a chemical reaction, and this O3 that is present in the ozone, by absorbing the solar radiations, those UV radiations, during that chemical reactions it breaks the ozone to form oxygen gas. So the ultraviolet radiations were not absorbed by the chemical reactions. So if ultraviolet rays were not absorbed by what would have happened if there would be no ozone layer? Then what would happen? What would have been happened? So if ultraviolet radiations were not absorbed by ozone, then it would reach the Earth's surface and cause harm to us. Those UV rays when it falls on the creature's body, it is very harmful. It forms a type of skin disease, skin cancer. Okay, harm to us, to all living forms. Ozone layer, so like this way, it is protecting all the living creatures on the surface. So it is a protective shield. It is acting as a protective shield against this solar radiation. Now student, I am giving you a few chemical reactions in our daily life which you see in your surroundings. So just for example, rusting of iron. So students, suppose mostly in rainy seasons, there is lot of moistness in the atmosphere. And if any iron object is just exposed outside, placed outside for many days, or you can say for few days, when the iron surface, if it is not coated with any other metals, it has done plastic coating, not oiling, not greasing, not painted, not coated with any other metal like galvanization, and if exposed to air, moisture air, when that moisture air comes in contact with that iron object, that iron, that is ferrous, when comes in contact with the oxygen along with the water present in the oxygen air in the form of vapor, moisture air. So you can see here iron, when come in contact with the oxygen along with the moisture that is in the water present in the form of moisture in the air, vapor in the air, that there chemical reactions happen, and these chemical reactions converts into rusting, that is Fe2O3, Fe2O3H2O. 2Fe means the 2 is the molecules. So student, what you see, rust has been generated on that iron surface, reddish brown powdery substances which just formed by the upper layer of the iron object. It has not came from anywhere else. The upper layer of the iron object has converted into rust, which is the degradation of that iron object, and slowly that iron will become weak and thinner, and it will not long last, it will break, because this moisture air is just corroding that iron object, that is called the rusting. So student, what is rusting? You know very well. Rusting, a reddish brown powdery substance that is formed from the upper layer of the iron object due to the chemical reactions of moisture, water and oxygen along with that iron object, means moisture air when come in contact with that iron object, a rust appears on the earth, that iron object. This is called the method is called the rusting. Okay student? So this is also a chemical reactions. I think so many of you have seen rusting, the rusted object which you have seen. Now the next is, this is a chemical reactions. Okay, this is an example of chemical reactions. Could we prevent the iron object from rusting, student? Yes, we could prevent. If we are aware about these things, that chemical reactions happens on the iron object if exposed in the moisture air, then we should do certain precautions. We should take certain precautions to keep the iron object safe from being get rusted. What are those precautions? I am going to explain now. So what are those preventive methods so that by applying we could make the iron safe from getting rusted? Okay, that I am going to explain about preventing from rusting. So student, first is that you have seen that in your balcony or in your terrace there is an iron grill, okay, or your main gate is of iron object that is painted properly, first by primer, then by paint, oil paint, so that this painting forms a layer between that iron object and the atmospheric moisture air. Now if the moisture air will touch that iron object, it will not get touched to that iron directly, because as it touches, a paint layer is between that iron and that moisture air, which is acting as a shield and protecting that iron from coming in contact with that moisture air, okay, and like this way it is stopping from further rusting. So the first is that painting. Next, student, if suppose it is not possible to paint, you can just take a cloth, soak it in oil and just put a layer of oil on that gate or that iron object. Now this oiling or greasing is also a method of protecting the iron object from being get rust. How? This iron or grease object forms a layer surrounding the iron object, and the iron object can't get direct contact with the moisture air and it will not rust. So student, oiling and greasing. Oiling or greasing is also a method. Okay. Next student, plastic coating. A plastic coating layer is applied on that iron object, and this plastic coating will stop the moisture air to get in direct contact with the iron object. When the moisture air comes to touch the iron object, it will find there is a plastic coating surround that iron object, and that plastic coating will prevent the iron from getting rust. Next student, chromium plating. This is not a common man work. It is done in the big industries, factories where the iron object is plated. Okay, chromium plated by the method of galvanizing, chromium or nickel by the method of galvanizing. The extra metal layer is coated surrounding that iron object. So by the method of galvanizing, a such type of metallic layer, a film of layer, is just put above that iron object, that is called the either of chromium or of nickel metal. These metals are applied by a method of galvanizing. It is coated, an extra coating layer is put on surrounding that iron object, so that when that object comes in contact with the moisture air, no any rusting will took place. Why? Because that iron object is not getting direct contact with that moisture air, because between these two, the iron and the moisture air, there is a coating layer of chromium plating. So by applying the chromium plating method, we can save the iron from getting rust. Next is that, student, galvanizing by zinc. Just now I have told you galvanizing. Galvanizing and alloy. It is done at the time from very beginning by just melting the iron object and melting one more such metals which has got the property of not getting rust. There is no any effect of moisture on that material. So that metal and iron metal are both melted and mixed together to form a new metal in which iron is also present and such metal is also present, by which it is called the alloy. Because when two metals are melted and mixed together, it forms such metal that is called the alloy, which can't be rusted. So these are the points you must remember. These are the preventing points which we could apply to keep the iron object safe. So student, whatever I have explained today, hope so you have understood. Try to listen the video carefully, student. It's my request. Please listen the video carefully and try to clear your concept, as well as please tell your classmates, friends, that if they are not listening, if they are not watching the video, they are doing very loss of their knowledge. Because student, in this pandemic condition, this is the only method so that we could keep you student in touch with your knowledge by these methods. So if you are careless student, if you are not listening the video, if you are not watching the video, or you have taken the mobile or laptop but you are not serious, you are not watching the video but you are doing something else, playing games, it is very you are doing very mysterious activities. Okay, so student, be alert, be careful. Whatever the topics are explained by your teachers and the work given from here, you must please like to watch and also share your friends of your classmates. Tell them that please watch, my sir has explained the chapter very nicely, very proper, clear the concept. And whatever the task provided from here, you must do it, student. Hope so you have understood. So thank you, student. Have a nice day.